So I recently released my album titled Mermaids and Stuff. It's a 19-track album, and it's been an album that I've been working on for the longest time, obviously because I haven't released in a while. And, a lot of things transpired, whilst creating the project, including becoming an independent artist, a few personal things, around depression and leaving a very toxic relationship, there's just been so much that the album represents, to my spiritual journey even. And it features, a lot of amazing artists, but it's not a coincidence that they're mostly young women on it, because I just felt that I wanted to use my final Orthodox hip hop album as a platform to showcase young women, like myself, but to get everybody, into the idea of women collaborating and that not being a wow factor anymore, that people should be quite used to it, and if you want to create a good song together, then you're able to do that. So the album was definitely influenced by a lot of things, and I think it's different in the sense that it carries a soul, it carries my soul in it, where people see me going through a very volatile and turbulent time in my career to rising above the ashes as a phoenix would, going independent, achieving so many really, really cool things, and showing young women that you can have a second chance at life. You can be absolutely amazing, regardless of what you want to do, and also that you don't need validation from anyone else. So I think really that's what the album embodies for me. So the pandemic was a very, very tough time, I think, most, specifically for, young creators and creatives, especially within the entertainment industry, where a lot of our revenue comes from live, events, and we were not gigging, and we almost had to turn to digital as an alternative way of making money, which is never really the same. It was a difficult time, but I think I took the stance to, and the positioning to say, if I decide that COVID is going to be a bad time for me, that's exactly what it's going to be. So am I going to try, within the stillness of everything and within the world stopping, to learn a new skill, to acquire a new skill, to acquire new hobbies, and to read and to educate myself? Absolutely, yes. And that's what I did, from understanding digital media and social media to learning about, visual production. I wouldn't really say I'm, Mr. X or Clarence Shottis, but I've acquired new skills because I decided to take that time to do something positive. And that's what I've been saying to a lot of people around me. If you didn't take the time to do something during, that time, you'll never get that time back. We will never go through a time in our generation where things are so still, so silent, and the world basically stops. And I would hate to look back and think, wow, I could have used my time differently, but I was so busy worrying about tomorrow that I didn't live in the today. And guess what? Tomorrow did come, because I lived in the today, I have a new skill and I'm using it now. And the world is slowly opening up again. So 16 days of activism is coming up. And once again, this is a time in our calendar where we get to reevaluate where we were, since the previous year. Are we still having, issues around gender-based violence, where not much is being done by, structures and the powers that be? Are we as communities, still advocating for there to be a change? We have seen a few cases already this year, again, of young women losing their lives because, they didn't walk away from a situation. And some didn't even walk into a situation. They just found themselves there. So I think it's very important, one, for young women to know their power when they're in these relationships with, their counterparts, that at the end of the day, it's always about number one, you. Remember that the scars that you, acquire or attain in that relationship are scars that will live with you for the rest of your life. I am somebody who was directly and who's personally suffered at the hands of somebody I loved. And till this day, I am still trying to move forward and to unlearn certain things and to heal from certain things. So just don't ever find yourself in a position where you feel that you have to stay because you are less than, you are unworthy. There's so much beauty in life, and there is beauty outside of relationships. And I'm telling you now, if it started, it's only going to worsen. There is no, where there's pain, I believe there isn't love. So the minute it starts to hurt, start reevaluating a lot of things and leave. It is very important for women to remain empowered, more especially in our industry, because our industry has always been dominated by a male viewpoint. We only are starting to see an influx of young women taking the center stage and, you know, behind the scenes recently. And what we've realized is that in collaborating with, in supporting each other and everything else, we have actually become stronger than we were before, because now we're not waiting for some male figure to put us against each other. We're realizing that we can support each other and rise together. So, you know, for me, it is really, really important to remain empowered. But in the same breath, I will say that empowerment comes from supporting each other, collaborating with each other. If your friend is starting something, you're not the competition. You know, in actual fact, it might open up more for you. I believe that we pull each other up in society, and women really, really need to stick together. Angela Davis once said, you know, it's one thing being, you know, somebody of color, but it's another thing being a woman of color. The struggle is very, very different. And what we see usually is that we are our downfall because we do not support each other. We're so willing to bring each other down. We're never trying to get the facts. It's almost as if the world waits for a catfight to happen. So I would really encourage women to, yes, find means to empower yourself, but that comes with empowering others as well. So I am super excited. I feel very honored that TikTok Africa would entrust me with such a huge, I don't know, a huge job. And that's to, you know, represent young Africans on a music chart show. And it's really about uniting Africa. We're seeing, you know, on the internet now that society is borderless. Everyone wants to learn about everyone. And that's always what I've advocated for. I am African before I'm even South African. That's how I've always been. So just, you know, connotations around, you know, anti-xenophobia, supporting one another, learning about one another, understanding that we're one. This idea of the United States of Africa, for me, is such a big thing. And I hope that one thing I bring to the table on the show is exactly that, a sense of unity and being a woman and being able to do that. And, you know, as women being known in society as the backbones of society and, you know, the people who keep home together. I think this is an opportunity for me to make sure that Africa keeps together. So with the show, I'm hoping that happens. People will see me a lot on different, you know, just outside of the music. There's a reality TV show we just shot, which was really cool. People got to learn about me as well on there. I'm definitely moving into a presenting space as well, just because we have started to elevate from just music into becoming this brand. And people want to see more of us and people want to hear more of us. So I would just say to everyone, like, just keep your eyes peeled. I could pop up at any time. But I'm really, really excited because there is a single dropping very soon featuring Busiswa. And once again, it's young women coming together to create music in the name of Africa and African music. And as a sort of lead from Mermaids and Stuff, this is what I'm bringing forward to you. So lots of plans. My reality TV show is also coming out. There's a particular show we're working on that gives back to society. Lots and lots of stuff, but people can check that out on my social media.